review my presentation. My name is Melissa Tejeda, and my candidate number is 1359. I belong to U.S. test site number 675. Today, I will be discussing the extent that poverty ties in with crime rates through a social lens, globally and locally. As for my group members, they will be addressing the technological, economic, and political specs. The issue at hand is that growing up in poverty can taint the future of a young child. There are several issues that arise from experiencing poverty during the stages of upbringing, such as poor mental and physical health problems. Standards of living in the developmental stage are a large factor that affect whether the child will have a bright or a dull future. Now, why does this problem need solutions? How does this issue affect society on a global level? According to youthgov.org, approximately 2.1 million youth under 18 are arrested in the United States annually. According to the World Health Organization, 42% of global homicides come from youth ranging between 10 to 29 years of age. Moving on to my local examples. The locations I will be presenting today are California, Florida, and Detroit. To begin with, from the year 1991 to the year 2000, over 50,000 homicides were committed in California. The majority of the assailants were teenagers, specifically teenagers who resided in areas where poverty was prevalent. Teenagers with more money or who came from wealthier families were observed to be less likely to commit violent crimes. Another example is Detroit. Half of the children between ages 0 through 17 living in Detroit also live in poverty. Evidently, poverty is pervasive in Detroit. Juvenile crime rates are also pervasive. As you can see in this chart, from the years 1980 to 2019, juvenile arrest rates have fluctuated between 8,400 and 2,000, according to ojjdp.org. My last local example will be Florida. There are 4 million children living in Florida, and out of those 4 million, 55% either live in poverty, around poverty, or are inching toward it. These children are susceptible to lower academic achievement, abuse, and neglect. 1 out of 5 children in Florida are food insecure, and families that are living in poverty lack the resources to escape it. As a result, many adolescents resort to violence, robbery, and in some cases, substance use. In 2019 through 2020, 45,366 juveniles were arrested. These crime rates coincide with Florida's high poverty rates. My global examples pertain to North Korea, Colombia, and Mexico. First off, North Korea has a poverty rate of approximately 60%. In the year 2016, the number of juvenile offenders reached 87,000. Also, the number of physical assault cases jumped from 3,600 to 6,600 from the years 2011 to 2015. Juvenile crime rates in North Korea are so extreme that in 2010, 16 children sexually assaulted a teenager who suffered from mental disabilities for weeks. These over-average poverty rates indeed coincide with North Korea's dangerous juvenile crime records. In addition, when taking a look at Colombia, a country where almost half of the population suffers from poverty, 9.8% of crime is made up by adolescents. Although this may seem like a small percentage, 60 to 70 minors are arrested daily in Colombia. Hundreds of children in Colombia face homelessness, which makes them vulnerable to sexual abuse, violence, and human trafficking. 60 to 70 being the daily average minor arrest rate makes it one of the highest rates in the Latin American region. Lastly, in Mexico, 51.9% of children live in poverty. 9% of children live in extreme poverty. 30,000 children in Mexico associate with organized crime. This includes being involved with drug cartels and gang activity. For example, the 14-year-old boy in this photo, who is found guilty for the torturing and beheading of 4 people for the South Pacific drug cartel. A life of poverty is a nudge that pushes adolescents into a life of crime. With every problem comes a solution. My local solution comes from Shreveport, Louisiana. Shreveport is a rather poor city considering the poverty rate falls at 25.7%, and 1 out of 3 people live in poverty. Shreveport happens to have one of the highest delinquency rates in America. a group of fathers who call themselves Dads on Duty have decided to dedicate their time for being there for students at Southwood High School. They offer jokes, compliments, and overall emotional support to students on campus. In addition, these fathers stay on the lookout for dangerous activity. Because of this, the number of fights at Southwood High School has decreased. The presence of father figures at a high school where students might be lacking one has made the school a safer and overall more positive environment. My global solution comes from Sao Paulo, Brazil. The Maria Helene Drexel Association works in an effort to provide children in Brazil with a stable and early life so that they can have a bright future. Street kids are fostered into safer environments with more resources. Instead of imprisoning young children who are exposed to criminal activity at a young age, the goal is to scope out the underlying reasons of violence and fix them at the source. Here are the benefits of my global and local solutions. Dads on Duty benefits young adolescents who are still in one of the most influential periods of their life. High school students who attend campus at Southwood High School get to interact with the involved fathers who are there to assist. Having a fatherly presence at school provides more structure since fathers generally know how to discipline children. In addition, there's also a sense of comfort that comes from having present fathers. This is all beneficial to a teen growing up. Although this solution does not contribute to helping with poverty, it definitely takes a poor environment and creates a better atmosphere. A more nurturing environment will naturally create a more peaceful individual who steers away from crime and steers toward doing good for others. As for my global solution, the Maria Helene Drexel Association also targets children who are in one of the most influential periods of their life. By fostering children who are once living in slums with no resources and dangerous conditions, this association shows children what a healthier environment is like. Putting a child in a stable home environment will significantly boost a child's sense of security. Ultimately, a stable environment away from violence and lack of resources creates a more stable child. Both of these solutions work toward creating a better society of adolescents who have security and emotional intelligence. Here are the resources that I used. This concludes my presentation, and once again, thank you for your time.